I definitely think that Swerve Strickland does fall into one of the categories of AEW wrestlers where he has a lot of momentum and easily they can make him a megastar or they can actually turn him into a wrestler where the momentum dies. For example, when the Acclaim were really popular, their momentum died because they actually switched the titles a little too early. And I believe the reason why they did that was because they wanted to take the titles off of them so you would have FTR eventually gain the titles through feuding with a heel faction, the Gun Club. The other great example of it is Wardlow. For example, like when he first started and he had that feud with MJF, he was really, really hot and they just didn't know how to book him really good. And they kind of had comical matches where he would knock down over 20 people, and now he's having matches where he is getting two falls on smaller wrestlers. I think that what I would say is that Swerve Strickland definitely needs to be protected as a wrestler. He needs to be booked very well, and he needs to be one of those people that becomes the faces of AEW, because obviously more people at the top and more people standing out is what AEW needs right now. New Year's to Revolution. Next week on AEW, they're going to have Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland in Phoenix, Arizona. In this match, I would have Swerve Strickland win. And the reason why I want to have that is obviously there's a lot of momentum behind him. And definitely the fans want to see him become the first black AEW champion. So at Revolution, it will be Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland. And what I would do is I would actually have Swerve Strickland beat Samoa Joe. And the reasons why I want to do that is there's still a bunch of negative momentum on AEW. Like, still some people are really mad about CM Punk leaving. And then also some people are talking about the quality of AEW, especially with the reign of MJF just having too much comedy. So definitely you want to give the fans a bit of a bone here. Is that I'm going to have a match between Wardlow and Hangman Adam Page. They are actually going to time the rankings, and what they're going to do is that the winner of that is actually going to face Swerve Strickland at Double or Nothing. So what I would do is I'll actually have Wardlow win, and the reason why I want to have Wardlow win is because we cannot have Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland for. We've done that way too many times. Revolution to Double or Nothing. Swerve Strickland comes down to the ring and he's thanking everybody. And so what Swerve Strickland does is that he says that he's going to have a couple of championship matches. He decides to have a match of Swerve Strickland versus Brian Cage one week, and then another week he's going to have a match with one of the Young Bucks, and then after that he decides to just take a break from defending his world heavyweight title just because, he doesn't want to kind of show off a little bit more. He kind of says there's really no competition. And then he and Wardlow have a bunch of words exchanged, and then the Undisputed Era comes down, and then they kind of really just hype up their match for Double or Nothing. Is that Double or Nothing? It's going to be Wardlow versus Swerve Strickland in a hardcore match. And also, Tony Khan puts in a stipulation that nobody's allowed to interfere. Not the mogul embassy cannot interfere, and also the Undisputed Era will not interfere. If any of the teams interfere, they're actually going to be fired from AEW. It has to be a one-on-one match. What I would do during the Casino Battle Royale is that I would have Samoa Joe actually win the chip, and then what happens during the Swerve Strickland and Wardlow match is that actually Samoa Joe puts Swerve Strickland in a rear naked choke by saying, "I'm not part of anybody's team, I'm just doing what I need to do." And then what happens is Wardlow becomes the AEW champion, and that's that really. Wardlow comes down to the ring and he's gloating about how he won the championship. And then what happens is Tony Khan actually comes down and says that he and Swerve Strickland are going to have a rematch on Collision. Tells Samoa Joe to get his fat ass down to the ring. And then he says, first of all, Samoa Joe, I'm stripping you of the chip. And also the other thing that he says to Samoa Joe is that he is suspended. Samoa Joe grabs the microphone and he does a promo similar to what he did in TNA Wrestling. Also tells Tony Khan, you know what, you want to fire me, fire me. Joe really says, he talks about how it's like the Young Bucks and other people can do whatever they want. Look at how they fired CM Punk and they didn't do anything to Jungle Boy. You're just that regular Tony Khan. You just talk a big game about being tough, but you're really just an easy bitch like Dixie Carter. So Tony Khan slaps him in the face, and he's also like, okay, well, Samoa Joe just walks away, and then he's suspended indefinitely. And then what happens on Collision is Wardlow versus Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland loses to Wardlow, and then Undisputed Kingdom comes down and they beat up Swerve Strickland. GF and the Acclaim come down and they actually break it up with the Undisputed Kingdom. And then Tony Khan comes down and he says, right now you guys have a big scrap, and I'm sick and tired of the Undisputed Kingdom actually running roughshod and people doing what they want. So going to make sure you guys beat the hell out of each other and get it all out of your systems. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a Blood and Guts pay-per-view.